Trusting yourself more is a choice and a form of commitment. Who on earth knows what's best for you better than you? If you're having a hard time trusting yourself because of unfavorable choices in the past, know this. Unfavorable choices are not made from a place of self-trust, but rather almost like an energetic bet against yourself as a misguided form of protection. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Karma Cards and Happy New Moon in Pisces, which happened on Wednesday, March 2nd. And it is such a potent energy that I really feel like we're going to be working with, well, most of the month, because the sun has moved into the sign of Pisces. And with the new moon joining it there and the stellium happening between sun, moon, Jupiter, and Neptune, there's a lot of Piscean energy happening right now. And it's a great time to use your tools of meditation, dreaming, and visualization. And so today's message I wanted to share with you, I want to decipher the message you heard at the beginning of this video, because that message came from future Therese. So this is a practice I do every morning. And it's funny because I'm finally moving into this place of doing it every morning when months and months ago when I chatted with my future self, she said she does it every morning. So I'm excited because that means there's some alignment happening now. But it's just a really quick tune in I do with my future self. So I am going to that place, to the timeline that my future self is achieving all that I desired. She's already achieved it. And so I go and look to her for advice to help current me at my current location align with that achievement, whatever it is. She's achieved a lot of different things in a lot of categories. I've sort of amalgamated all my goals and aspirations into this one convergent point where it's already happening. And that's the version of myself I go and talk to. And so every morning I sit down with her and I have a pep talk. She talks me through things. I ask her a question and then she relays an answer to me. And the answer I got today is the message that I read to you earlier. So I want to break that down because what's really interesting when you're talking to your future self, you can shorthand a lot of things because you already understand the perspective through which they are talking to. But I realized as I was relaying it to you that perhaps there's quite a few chunks of missing information that would help you understand this statement more deeply. And I feel like it's a profound statement because so many people that I work with at a core level, we're working with self-trust. That's what they want. No matter what it is that we are working at on a surface level, whether it's increasing your intuition or going after your soul purpose, or healing some part of yourself, underneath all that is a core of wanting to trust ourselves. And so this message I felt was really resonant for more than just me, and I want to share it with you. So let's start breaking it down. The first statement future Therese said to me is that trusting yourself is more of a choice and a type of commitment. So she is reminding me again that free will is an active principle at all times. So even though we might know we need to trust ourselves, we still have to choose it. And what she was saying to me here was the non-spoken part that she was saying to me is that in moments where you're making big decisions and you're really trying to align to destiny, it's going to feel uncomfortable and even unsafe sometimes when you get the answers from your gut, from your intuition. And you still have to choose whether you're going to trust that or not. I know from my own past experiences that I wasn't sure if I was choosing from true intuition or just a sort of recorded memory of some kind of affirmation or positive teaching I'd heard. And because I didn't have that deeper anchor into my own gut at that time, I hesitated to make choices because the bigger I tried to go, the less uncertain I felt, and I wasn't sure I was supported by truth. And so what she reminds me is that you're going to get intuitive hits, and you have to decide within yourself. You have to make a choice about whether you trust that as a truth or not. And the second part, she said, it's a choice and a form of commitment. So I've noticed in my own energy and in people I work with, we do what's called the pilgrim's journey, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But if you picture that energy, I want you to ask yourself, does that look like commitment? Now, I know it's talking about progress. It's like you move forward some and then you fall back into patterns or old behavior and you have to work through it again. And so it's just pointing out the process. But I'm just talking about in terms of energy. Does it feel like commitment when we trust ourselves sometimes and then choose not to at other times? Especially if we feel insecure about it and what our intuition is bringing us. So when our intuition simply confirms what we already believe, we tend to trust that more. When our intuition is asking us to think outside our current parameters, do you trust that as much? Or do you go back on your commitment to trust? Do you go back into that place of like, well, I don't know. I don't have any verification here. This feels new and different and a little scary. And so I'm withdrawing trust. And so part of it is this understanding that in order to really benefit from our intuition and making big choices and following our destiny and our dreams, we need to offer a more steady flow of commitment, that I'm going to commit to this choice I made and realize that I'm the one that made the choice initially. I'm the one that asked the question. I'm the one that has a desire to move forward up and out of things. So it doesn't really make sense when you stop and think about it to put all of this attention and energy into manifesting something and then pulling back on the commitment to it. But we do. And I do it all the time, which is why I'm asking, okay, what is it I need to understand about this that I'm not currently applying? So I hope that you're hearing that once you've decided, I want to manifest something, whether it's the next level in your career or a new relationship, you're putting an energy out there. Nothing is doing it to you. That's your choice, right? You are choosing, I want to expand my capacity in some way. When we expand capacity, we're moving out of a comfort zone and into discomfort. So notice that if you have a tendency to pull back on commitment as soon as you feel your discomfort, because that's you withdrawing energy, which then takes the wind out of the sails and sort of stops things in motion. It can stagnate at that point. So my higher self and future self is simply saying here, reinvest commitment into it. This is the direction you chose to go in. Now walk, keep walking forward. All right, so the next statement future Therese said to me is, who on earth knows what's best for you better than you? And I see us deferring to outside opinion, advisors, and we take our power away. We tend to give off our power to something else outside of us. And a lot of times we even place our greatest power outside of us, right? I've watched people externalize God rather than internalize God, where, you are intimately connected. You are source energy streaming through you. You are a ray of the sun, intimately connected. And so we easily give away our power to something else outside of us, knowing best, like the parental figure or the counselor figure or the mentor figure or the teacher figure or the religious leader or the, fill in the blank who you believe knows better for you than you. And so all she's simply doing here is getting me to acknowledge that how could anyone know you more intimately than you know yourself? And if you intimately know yourself and you're invested in learning more about yourself, you're always going to know what's best for you. And it might be counter to what you've been told. And that's I know that's cognitive dissonance when you're hearing a message over and over and over again, and then you get internally, nope, go this way. Like if you're hearing go go left, go left, go left. And then you get internally, actually go right. Like, that's better for you. That's going to be it's going to create that sense of self-doubt again, because you're going counter to almost culture, right? You're going counterculture, you're going against the grain in some way, and you're listening to your own internal guide. But we have to remember that there is no such thing as one size fits all. This is part of that social conditioning that's been so damaging. And thankfully, in every area, people are trying to undo it. There is no one size fits all. Some people need lots of iron. Other people are allergic to iron. Other people only need a little. Like, why would we set an amount of like a supplement like that can have such an impact on the body and tell everyone to take the same amount? Makes no sense, right? And we have that kind of awareness. But again, it's like our internal guidance. Your whole family might go one direction and you're being told to go in another. And it's, again, discomfort, right? Puts you outside the comfort zone. Now you've got, who can you trust? Who can you get this verified from? If everybody outside of you gets one answer and you're internally getting another, then my future self is asking to remind me and me to you, who knows best for you than you, right? Again, so it's true on all accounts of everything you're going through in your life. There is no one size fits all, and there is no one category where everyone's generally falling into something. There's always going to be an exception to the rule, and you may be, in some cases, an exception to some rule somewhere. And when that happens, what are you going to do? Are you going to self-abandon, or are you going to trust yourself? Because the guidance that you receive within is telling you this is where you're different. Right? So I would say I'm being told to honor that more, and I want to share that with you. So the last section that she shared with me, super interesting. So let me read it. It says, unfavorable choices are not made from a place of self-trust. Unfavorable choices are not made from a place of self-trust. So this response that I heard came from me projecting about all the times that I made choices that I was like, that's obviously a mistake. It wasn't a good choice. Look what I did. Look what happened. Look how I felt. And I was pointing that out to her. And she like zing right back at me. Well, you didn't make that choice from a place of self-trust. The unfavorable choices were most likely made as a form of misguided protection. So let me read the second part, because she says, unfavorable choices are not made from a place of self-trust, but rather as a bet against yourself and as a type of misguided self-protection. So really what I got here when I received that part of the message is that it's made from a place of fear, right? I don't want to get hurt, so I'm going to do this. And that's where I had chosen from at the time I made a misguided choice. I don't want to get hurt. I'm afraid of something happening, so I'm going to choose this. And usually you can tell when you're doing it because it feels like shrinking. It feels like shrinking. It feels like getting smaller and hiding. It feels like dimming. That's the energy. That's what I would categorize as a misguided choice. And again, when we do that, we're trying to pull in and protect ourselves. And it's very akin to fight or flight. Fight or flight literally shrinks you. I mean, in physical ways. Your etheric body, your aura actually tightens up quite small, and it can get really close to the body. So our auras can radiate quite large. And of course, the more we feel safe and comfortable in ourselves, the more radiant we are as a being. When we start to feel unsafe or insecure, we get really tight and our aura shrinks down. Not only that, but then you've got blood constricting from your external limbs. It's going into the heart center. Your digestive juices stop flowing. All the blood is moving to where the heart can really pump that energy and boost adrenaline, right? So it's a literal shrinking. Literally shrinking. The brain even shuts off. It's like, nope, can't use energy up there. We just got to do one of two things. We fight it or we run away. So this is how you know if you're making a misguided choice. Like if you got the impulse to, quit your job. And your gut is saying, this isn't right for me. I need something else. The mind is thinking, I need security. This is giving me a financial source of income, and I can't let it go because of all the responsibilities I have. And to let it go would be irresponsible, and then we would be in real trouble. And so when you feel the impulse that it's time to let this job go, instead of trusting that and trying to move into aligned action with it, like, how do I do this in a way where I can feel good about it? Most people shrink up to that. They're like, nope, like, I can't lose what I've got. And then the irony is usually somehow that energy is coming for them anyway, because they're not supposed to be there. It's like you kind of can't stop that. It's like your intuition is the heads up, that where you get to make the choice about what happens next. When you ignore that, that usually leads to catalyst. And catalyst is a predestined impetus that will happen. So if you stay at a job too long that you're not supposed to be at, you're going to end up losing that job. I mean, you could probably look back and see how it happened, but mostly it's like, nope, you're not supposed to be there. This is not the best and most efficient use of your energy. You have a higher purpose, and there's something more aligned to you. And since you're not moving, we're going to help you by bumping you. That's what catalyst does. It bumps us. It shakes us. It gets us to realize, crap, I got to make a choice here. I got to make a new choice. And so it's an opportunity, but it doesn't always feel good. When we are making choices with a lack of self-trust, we are betting against ourselves. So this statement of betting against yourself is, I want to manifest more abundance in my life. Let's say that's it. The betting against yourself is, I can't do that. And I'm going to make a choice from that place. I can't do it. I am limited. I'm limited because I only make this much money, or I've never made that much money. Do you see it? We do this all the time. Pick something that you're trying to bring into your life that feels bigger than what you have now, and you've got some thoughts that are a bet against it. It's when you let yourself choose from those thoughts because they feel safer, because we know on some level we're trying to protect ourselves from pain, but it's misguided, because that's not what really causes us pain, the discomfort. It's the staying the same and stagnating that really causes pain. So I hope this message resonates for you. I hope it shows you what you're truly capable of. And I hope it gives you more inspiration to commit your energy more to yourself. Really start to see yourself as that wise divine being who's got an internal guidance system that is always working in your highest good. And when you start to believe in and trust that, it becomes easier to follow through on your intuitive hunches. And when you do that, your intuition opens up more. So it's a win-win. It's like if you listen initially, it opens it. And every time you listen and you do your best to follow through, you open new levels and you go deeper and deeper and deeper until you're hitting enlightenment. And with that, let's do some karma cards. Yum, 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 yum. If you're new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team, what message do you have for us this week? And I got 2 sets of answers, one in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. The way that you play is you use that beautiful intuition of yours, tune in, you trust it, and ask yourself, what do I need more of this week? Action? Or do I need to know some outcomes? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you're tapping in and choosing, the timing for this reading is March 3rd through March 10th. And the flavor of this reading, we have the moon, which just became new yesterday. So I'm doing this reading on the 3rd, so it's 3/3/22. That's pretty cool. Doing it on the 3rd, and the new moon in Pisces was yesterday. In the sign of Taurus, Taurus being about what you value. It's good. In the 10th house. Now the 10th house represents the external world and how you are in the external world. Many times it's called the house of courier, but it's just how you are putting energy out into the world. And it has to do like with what you feel you're destined to do, or what you're moving towards. Why are you here? What are you trying to express and share with the world? For those who are choosing action, your spiritual action is to defend your beliefs responsibly. Okay, responsibly comes from the 10th house. It's ruled by Capricorn, so it has a lot of that Capricornian energy. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. It has to do with structure. It has to do with discipline. It has to do with being responsible with what you're putting out there. So it's asking us to defend our beliefs responsibly. I love this. This is interesting that it's coming up because it's about understanding that you don't have to change for other people, and other people don't have to change for you to get along. We can have different opinions. We can see things differently. We can hold different perspectives and still love, respect, and care about each other while we defend our point of view. You can do that. That's a real thing. It's very fourth density. It's this awareness of each perspective is valuable. And I believe that's how we do it, which means you have to value your own perspective as well. Right? Are you making yourself wrong that you see things differently? Are you making yourself wrong that you go counterculture sometimes, or that you are a unique expression of source? You know, we're made sometimes to feel like that's wrong. It's not. So defend, meaning stay true to yourself, and responsibly, meaning recognize that everyone's trying to do that. And what better way can we do that for ourselves than by also being that space for others? We can hold a beautiful inner sovereignty where we stand strong in ourselves, express who we are, allow others to express who they are, and see the value in that. Because I do believe we're all holding a piece of the puzzle. And how will we know what pieces fit together so we can see the bigger picture if we're not interested in what people are holding? And understand that every perspective holds truth to it, not just our own and not just someone else's. Every single one holds a piece of the truth, the bigger truth. So I think as we move forward in time, and especially as we move deeper into real fourth density, we're going to learn this. We're going to understand that like curiosity and sovereignty go hand in hand nicely. So you can stand in yourself and still want to know what's outside of me, what is different, right? And not feel insecure when you're shown that. Or someone goes, I don't agree. I think this is what's going on. And you're like, okay, well, this is what I'm getting. And it's called civil discourse. And we've lost that art. And I believe we're getting it back. But it has to be at a ground level, that we're doing it individually. We're practicing that holding space and being comfortable enough in ourselves, which allows others to be comfortable around us. We're making space for that, and that's what we're being asked to do. Mental action at this time: accept the costs of success. So I feel like this goes into the conversation I had before we read the cards. Accept the cost of success. And to me, when I hear that, I'm thinking about the cost being being unsure, being put outside of your comfort zone, not being able to have a mirror sometimes, because these three things are the cost to, at least what I would consider the cost of gaining success. You have to be willing to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations where it's like, I'm going to have to take risk. I'm going to have to take risk to be successful. We know this is true. I think that there's a, floating ethos out there of maybe we can do it from our comfort zone, and nothing's created from comfort zones. That's why our spirit is always kicking us out if we stay too long in one, because it's stagnation. Comfort means I know this and I don't have to do anything in a place of comfort, where discomfort is like, I got to get out of this. I got to figure out how to get comfortable again, right? So we're constantly evolving, moving, growing, learning. When we're in that place of discomfort, that creates success. So there is the cost of success, in my opinion. physical action. Let your feelings tell you how to use the most direct way and become a person of power and status. Power and status, again, coming from the 10th house. On a spiritual level, what does power and status look like? To me, that looks like personal sovereignty, or being able to stay grounded within yourself. That's power. And status meaning that raised consciousness, right? Raising of awareness. It can also be read in a very materialistic way, but that's not how I feel it coming through. So we're being asked right now to be guided by our feeling state. Our feelings will let us know the most direct way to becoming a person of power and status. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. When you feel you're making choices from a shrinking, constricting place, you know you're not moving towards power. That just doesn't, the two don't jive together. They don't go together. So feelings as in both visceral feelings like the tightness and the squeezing and the palpitations, those are signs of constriction. The visceral feelings of relaxation, expansion, openness, trust. But also the emotional feelings of fear versus excitement, a sense of knowing versus a sense of insecurity, right? And then the vibratory, energetic feeling of this feels elevated. When I move this way, I feel so free. I feel so elevated versus I feel like I'm hiding and shrinking and getting smaller and my light is dimming down. So we're looking for those things to let us know if we're being direct or not, because we'll get there, but we'll take the long path if we're taking the squeezed up, short, tight energy. That's the long path. The more direct path is, this is scary, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to feel my feelings and I'm going to do it anyway because I want to expand and grow. That's really the direct path. We have an opportunity to take that. All we have to do is really pay attention to what our whole system is trying to tell us about the current decision we're trying to make. Okay, so now let's go into outcomes for those choosing outcomes with the moon in Taurus in the 10th house. The spiritual outcome right now is the nurturing of resources to maintain your destiny. Woo, woo, I love that. The nurturing of resources to maintain your destiny. So again, it's like what my future self was saying. It's like you supply the power through your commitment to trusting yourself. So that's what you nurture right now. As you do that, you are maintaining those resources to reach your destiny. Your internal guidance system is always trying to point you to where you're supposed to go, right? So our heart center is where intuition comes from. And I often call it a heart compass. And that heart compass, its needle, always points at true north, which is destiny. So if we just really could learn to get in there and just listen to this, no matter how much it pushes us, we're heading right towards what we're supposed to be at all times. And even when we move away from it, we always end up moving back. But this is really trying to give us a message of almost swiftness and directness and like just move, let's go deeper in now. It's your commitment that shows you how long this process will take. That's key. It's your commitment that shows you how long this process will take. So if you're fully committed, it's a fast process. If you're like, oh, I'm committed, no, I'm going to commit again. No. You see, you're like, start. I get it. I'm so with you sometimes. Even after so many years of using my intuition and trusting, every time I get pushed to go bigger or expand more, I do the same thing, which is why my future self is like, girl, get this, commit to it. So please know, I'm not preaching from above. I am right there on the ground with you going, right, I want the fast track. So I have to deeply commit to it. And I hope my excitement about that fires you up, because I would love to do it with you. I'd love to see us all like get it together so we can move faster. Mental outcome feelings caused by the practicality of where you're going. Feelings caused by the practicality of where you're going. That's basically just saying that as you commit or move forward or move anywhere, whether you're moving forward towards your destiny or you're skirting it, the feelings are what's going to come up. And they had just asked us, right, to use our feelings to figure out if we're taking the most direct path. So all it's letting us know is that the feelings are guaranteed. It's not like you're going to make a move, whether you expand or contract, and you're not going to feel a result. That's the first thing you're going to get. Instead of the outcome you're looking for, the first thing you're going to get is a feeling state. So let that guide you and realize that no choice is permanent. So even if today you're like, I'm not going to do it, screw that, I'm going to be in my little hidey hole and stay safe. Sure, that can be your choice today. Understand that later today you could change your mind, or tomorrow you can change your mind. It's really up to you. Your feeling state will be the first barometer for you to know if you're moving in the most aligned way to what you really want or not. Physical outcome, reactions resulting from the productivity of your career. Well, this is interesting, the reactions coming from the moon. So when I hear the word reaction, I often think of an unconscious response. It's not, so if it were a conscious response, I would hear responding versus reacting. I just get that there's going to be a knee-jerk reaction to every choice that you're making right now, which is very much coming from a more sensitive, moody energy, which is this Piscean energy we're under. Piscean energy can be both very mystical and psychic and aware, but it can also be very moody and reactive, and it has an impulse to deny or hide because it doesn't want to look at it. That's the darker side of Pisces. So I do get that even if you have this consciousness of like, yep, I know what I'm getting intuitively, I know that I need to commit to it, I'm going to commit to it, and then you do it, and then you get this like gut punch as you do it, because you'll get the gut punch of like the unconscious mind responding to whatever conscious choices you're making. It's not necessarily something we can turn off. It's something we can understand though. And I think what it's letting us know is that even when you're making good choices, you're going to have a reaction to it, especially right now. You're going to feel sensitivity, like, and put myself out there instead of right away being like, oh my God, that was amazing. And be like, oh, someone's going to hurt me because I'm just made myself vulnerable. Or maybe you're in a place where you're trying to do it and you start to get really moody because it's like, you don't want to be pushed, right? Don't push me. Especially if you share what you're trying to do with someone else and they're just maybe trying to encourage you, and then you're like, don't push me. Like you get all snappy, right? Because it's like it's a sensitive area. And the productivity of what you're putting out there. So productivity simply means that it's having a response. So sensitivity to response of what you're putting out there is really what it's talking about right now. And that's not to say it's a negative. It's just, it depends on like how comfortable you are being outside your comfort zone. How secure do you feel being outside your comfort zone? When you feel more insecure, it's going to be more of a negative reaction. When you feel more secure, you might have more of a spontaneous excitement type reaction or giddiness. But those are kind of par for the course right now with what it's asking us to go through. I hope this message was helpful for you. I hope it helps you see what your commitment level is to your own trust as well as to your own destiny. Are you fully going in? Are you holding back a little, or have you yet to give it commitment? And then make a choice from there. What would you like it to look like? And know that it's completely in your hands and you're always being guided and supported by your own heart. And with that, I send you so much love. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time I release a new video. Until then, stay magical.